Hi everyone, I am here today. Come on Carla, you can come over here with me. I'm here today to finally do the tutorial for the Orchid Bowl, and if you hear bells in the background, that's because Ramsey rings the bell to go outside, but she's gonna have to wait 5 minutes. So I had a lot of people respond to the Orchid Bowl that I keep on my kitchen counter, and I love it because I can just change flowers out as they die because I don't always keep them alive. And I can just keep adding things and changing things out as I need to, and so I always have fresh flowers, and it actually ends up being, I think it's cheaper that way to just change things out every once in a while than always having fresh flowers. So I wanted to wait to do a video for you when I really wanted to start from scratch. Usually I'll just take a plant in and out and water it as needed, but I'm truly starting from scratch because after vacation, we had a lot of things kind of die on us. So I'm starting with this big empty bowl. This is from Target. Ramsey, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is just from Target. It's a threshold bowl, $29.99. You can use anything because what you do, I use a trash bag to line it with. This is real life people. She's feeding Ramsey while we do this. Okay, I just line it with a trash bag to protect my bowl. And then it doesn't really matter if it's too big because you can just fold it in however. I have a couple of bowls of pea gravel right here. This is pea gravel. Yeah, you can get it at Lowe's, this huge bag, which is probably 4 times this amount. I think it was like $3.98 or something. But it's gonna give you weight. It's also going to provide a way for drainage to happen. And that's all. So I'm going to pour this. It's loud. Okay, I'm not sure if we're gonna need that whole bowl. I just wanted to have it just in case. So, yeah, I guess we do need some more. Why don't you just pour like half of that in here?
Okay. Well, it's not really half.
Well, keep going. It's a trial and error thing.
All of it?
I think that's good. Okay, so basically you're just gonna have to kind of eyeball how much you need based on the size of your plants that you're gonna put in. But all of my plants have a drainage hole in their container so that if I overwater, that it can seep down into this pea gravel.
And we filled ours kind of halfway.
Yeah, I mean, if you can kind of see that.
It's kind of halfway.
But it also can move around. If you have some plants that are deeper and you want to kind of like bury them in a little bit, you can do that. So we have a wide variety of plants behind you. The biggest ones I always put in there are the orchids, and I always get my orchids from Trader Joe's, just honestly because they're cheap. All 3 of these, I think they were $12.99 each. And they usually come in some kind of pretty pot, but when you yank it out, they're in this plastic, like this. And I put everything into the bowl just in its container. They have drainage holes, you just put them in, and you can kind of bury them into your pea gravel.
And like everybody always is like kind of like, but there's plastic, they're gonna see the plastic. In the end, they're all covered up.
Yep.
So it really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. This one won't come out. Oh, there we go. And I start with these just because they're the biggest, and then I kind of put everything else around.
Whoa.
That's careful. You see, I just kind of bury them in there a little bit. And it's all just trial and error, whatever you think looks good. It fell over?
Yeah.
And it's nice to have another hand if you have someone around like Carla who can kind of hold things in place for me while I place other things. So. Okay, Miss Carla.
Yeah.
Can you hold these in place while this is the one that wants to fall over.
Right. I know this is the one that was fall over.
Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my next biggest, and I'm kind of loving ferns right now. They always add a lot. And see, now that I see this and the pot is really big, I may have to move those over a bit. So what I'm gonna do, move these up a little bit. See, it's all trial and error. This can can be done by yourself, but it sure is nice to have someone like Carlisle around.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that
I
one
don't
there.
do it every single time. I just help.
Yeah, sometimes I have to do it when she's at school, but now it's summer and you're home, so yay. Okay, my next biggest plant is this guy, which I think is called a bromelia. It was in some other container, but the orchids from the last one, I pulled this off of it and replanted it in here. This just looks kind of summery, I think, so I'm gonna add that in. And one little tip with these, if you water them down in the soil, it will mold. So you actually have to put your water like in the little leaves area. So just stuck that in its place. I may have actually too many plants.
I think they'll all fit. There's
You think?
a lot of room.
There's a lot of room over there.
In front. There's like.
Okay, so I have several things of ivy, just because I like to have it trailing on the counter. I think it adds a lot of personality. So let's bring this guy over here. Is there more room over here?
Yeah. Up there.
Put this guy in right here. And it's always nice to just get varying textures and heights and anything to just give it a little bit of character.
Yeah, I think like one time we had like aloe vera.
I did.
Colorful?
One
Yeah.
time I did put aloe in there.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is colorful, so maybe we should put it in the front. This one with a little pink. Actually, I think I'm gonna move this one and put this one over here. And see, they're all still in their containers. Yeah, I like that better there. And I think I'm gonna have a smaller ivy to put over there. And I'll bring this one over here.
Oh, this one's stuck in a drawer.
Oh, whoops. Okay, let's put that one over here in the front because it's got, this one you can see it's in a solo cup.
cups.
But I put a drainage hole at the bottom, so it should work just fine. You see it's starting to come together. Okay, you're gonna have places where it doesn't hold together perfectly, and I have some bags of moss. Well, this is the leftover from last time, but like this moss, it's just, I got it in, I think I got it in Joann's at their, like, by their fake flowers. But you can just use this to kind of stuff down in between to hold things in place to get it exactly like you want it. So far, this is kind of holding itself together because I have so many plants. Not having much trouble in that way. I want that there. Do I need another one over here? Let's move this back a little bit, and I'll put it right here. If we move it this way a little bit, thank you. Here, we have it on both sides of that. Our orchids are kind of starting to go different ways. So now for me, it's probably time for me to grab some of the moss and start.
Fancy came to join us.
Oh, Ramsey came?
Yep.
I'm gonna turn these. Somehow they got a little cattywampus on me while I was doing the others.
Here's Susie.
Here's Ramsey.
Susie.
I think I'm gonna switch these guys. And again, it's all just about
Ramsey came down.
good. The look that you like, and you just move them around until you kind of get that. Okay, I think I need to get my moss and start layering it. This video is going to be so long at this rate. Let's see here. Sometimes when you need things to have more height, you can put some of the moss underneath it just to kind of give it a boost. But right now my biggest concern is all my orchids are not facing the way that I want them. So let me turn this a little bit and see.
You want this guy?
Not yet.
That would look cool there.
Yeah, I probably will put him in the back. I think this guy needs to go over here, just because of the way they're facing. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some of this moss. Oh, I actually have a whole bag of over from when I dismantled the other one.
Oh,
Whoops.
and one just fell in the sink.
It's okay, we'll get him. Okay, so I'm
This-
just stuffing this in
It
there.
kind of holds it in place.
It's just a filler. It just keeps everything upright and tight right where you want it. And I'm not a florist. I'm sure there are people out there who do this in a different way and they may have much better ways, but this is the way I do it and it works for me. Okay, we have a spot back there, so the plant that fell in the sink can come right over here. Just make sure that when you put it next to the edge that trash bag stays up, so that you don't have any issues with damaging your pot. I think. Do we have any more of the ivies or did I use it all?
The ivies you
I think I used all the ivies. Okay, so we need to stuff some down here so that one stays up.
We don't. We need to
Oh.
open the next package.
There we go. And then after you get everything held and securely in place, you can start covering up the containers with either that moss or this other kind of moss that has some color to it. And that's what's gonna hide all of your ugly containers
Yeah, that's like
and
we.
give
That's
it
why
the
we use.
finished look.
Like the solo cups really don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that I put a solo cup in my plant.
Because,
Is there anywhere for this over here?
actually, probably.
It might be a little full. Let me see.
So,
I can fit him right here. I always just think the more the better. So if I can have room for one more plant,
I
then
stuffed those back in the front.
why not? Put that trash bag up. Okay, Carla, I'll start stuffing it in there.
Bunch back there. Use it.
Yeah, use whatever. That's what it's for.
Oh gosh. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, you're gonna need to put a bunch of that back here.
Yeah, and back here.
I think this is the front with this bromeliad because I like that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I see some purple.
No, we can't have the purple solo cup showing. I'm sorry this is such a long video, but there's just a lot of, trial and error and moving things around until you get the look that you like. Oh, here's some more purple solo cup. Now I wouldn't advise that to be like your best.
But that's kind of what we had.
That's
so
kind
it
of
works.
all I had for a couple of these little guys, and
But,
it just seemed to work. But you just make sure you put a drainage hole because you don't want to water them and have them sitting in water. So, so as you saw when we did this, all of the plants are in their own containers. So when you go to water, you have to water each little container separately.
So you kind of just move through.
Yeah, I just kind of get my fingers in there and try to figure out where the pot is and get it right in there. And then every once in a while, I'll just take out, probably every 2 weeks or so, I'll pull the plants out and give them a good soaking in the sink and then put them back in. Now the orchids, they'll last several weeks. This ivy, if you keep watering the ivy, it'll last, forever. Just keep trailing. Some of them last longer than others, but I get the look of fresh flowers all the time, and really just for the cost of replacing my orchids every month or so. So let's see, is that of course we have a huge mess that we always make with the moss. Let's put some more right here. Carlisle, you're a good helper. Did we get all the spots? Oh, there's some right there. Okay, do I think that's the front? I
It
think
really
that's the
kind of
front.
depends on the plants that you get and how much you need to water them.
That's right. Teaching her early. Okay, so here we go. Here we have the Orchid Bowl of the month. We are ready for summer. We had to redo it because we're having guests next week. And if you can see me below the orchids. Okay, that's all, folks. So I will list all the materials and everything on the blog post. And I hope you enjoyed it. This is so easy, is it not, Carlisle?
It is so easy.
Anybody could do this.
It might look hard, but it really is so easy. It's
Yes,
just
I
stuff
kind
in
of
a
laugh
piece.
when this is always everybody's favorite, and they always think it looks so hard. It's so not. So please try it, and if you do, I would love to see pictures. Comment on the blog post or share it to Pinterest or whatever you want to do. I would appreciate it, and thank you for watching, and we'll show you something new very soon. Bye, guys.